In 1906, 21-year-old Walker Jamar arrived in Duluth with not much more than the drive and desire to build his own American success story. He found work as a timekeeper at A.H. Krieger Company, an insulation and pipe covering firm. Walker quickly honed his business skills and at the ripe old age of 28, purchased the company from Mr. Krieger for $500 in 1913. He christened his new endeavor the Walker Jamar Company with an initial office location on 416 East Superior Street. Seeking opportunity everywhere, Walker's entrepreneurial spirit served him well, but left others guessing as he passed on opportunities others expected he would take, while taking work no one else could be bothered with. Once saying, "Small things in themselves seem unimportant, but when added together can be quite impressive." Ever vigilant, Walker was always on the alert for new ideas to apply to the production potential of his fledgling company. His willingness to venture into new enterprise and his refusal to be discouraged by disappointment and setback quickly set him apart from the crowd. Walker strongly believed, "Too many people expect opportunity to present itself in a dramatic way when usually it is right in front of us, unnoticed all along." The company soon added roofing capabilities and a short time later purchased an area sheet metal firm, allowing the company to provide roof flashings as well as general sheet metal and ventilation services. One particular sheet metal mechanic rose through the Jamar ranks from sheet metal shop superintendent to vice president before setting off on his own to found one of Jamar's present-day competitors, A.W. Kettle. With business taking off, the office and warehouses relocated to the Canal Park area in 1937. Now Little Angie's Restaurant, Duluth Pack, and adjacent buildings up through Cold Stone Creamery. The company continued to take on projects like metal light posts, hollow metal and fire-rated doors, and lifeboats. Always, regardless of the size of the project, Jamar tackled each with the same thoroughness and quality, establishing and building on a solid foundation of a reputation which proudly continues to this day. During the 1920s, Jamar opened an office in Chicago, managed by Phil Ullman, a company sheet metal worker. As the union movement gained speed and support, some customers continued to seek out non-union options. Walker saw an opportunity and ensured Jamar was well positioned to be that option. While the Depression years impacted the company as a whole, the new location soon began to prosper with the award of sizable contracts in both Kansas City and Houston. Again, Jamar had a ready response, establishing permanent offices in both cities. Supporting the World War II effort had Walker Jamar going like gangbusters. At the close of the war, the Chicago office became the Jamar Ullman Company as Walker Sr. sold his interest to Mr. Ullman, making for some friendly yet competitive bidding between the two offices on the occasional job in the upper Michigan area. By 1939, Congress had passed legislation requiring jobs which fell under a certain criteria within the construction industry to be performed by union labor. Despite the ever-increasing union presence up to this point, Jamar had been a non-union shop. As Walker Sr.'s health began to decline in the early 50s, his sons Walker Jr. and Norton increased their roles in the business. Norton assumed warehouse and shop responsibilities. Walker Jr., a West Point Academy graduate, decided the military was not for him and joined the firm in 1954 with an apprenticeship consisting of Walker Jr. taking notes atop a stool, watching the press brake operator in action, and quizzing the draftsmen as to their process.
When I was asked, Mr. Jamar, when you came back to the Walker Jamar Company, would you tell us in what position did you join the company and what was your position as the years went on? And I told them, much to the amusement of everybody, that I joined the company and my position was that of my father's oldest son. And I rapidly rose to be vice president and general manager.
As the years passed, each Jamar put their own personal stamp on the family business, occasionally inventing devices, some more successful than others, such as the Zenith damper lock to hold ventilation dampers in place, which never really took off, the wind-driven ice boat, which did take off, selling the first 40, but floundered, with Jamar disposing of the last 10 before getting out of the ice boat business, and the relatively successful Walker Pug Mill, a clay mixing machine. The taconite industry's boom in the 1950s created huge projects at reserve mining in Silver Bay and Erie mining in Hoyt Lakes. In contrast to the slower, less profitable early 60s, the 1970s and early 1980s kept the company hopping, working on ventilation, dust collection, siding, roofing, insulation, and general sheet metal work at several local grain elevators and paper mills. In the early 1970s, the company was renamed once again and remains to this day the Jamar Company. In the early 80s, as each contemplated retirement, yet not wishing to see their namesake simply fade away as some businesses do, Walker Jamar Jr. and Norton began looking for someone to take Jamar into the next generation. Following an unsuccessful search for a potential buyer, it was publicly announced the business would close in 1985. However, due to Jamar's connections with the Johns Manville line of insulation products, a St. Paul-based private holding company came forward, first showing interest in acquiring the Manville Insulation distributorship, but then also deciding to purchase the entire company, capitalizing on the respected Jamar name and its reputation in the regional construction industry. On February 1st, 1985, the company came under the ownership of the API Group, Inc. Acquisitions under the Jamar umbrella, such as Arrowhead Mechanical Contracting in 1986 and Arrowhead Refrigeration in 1992, further diversified the firm's capabilities. In addition, Adsco Distribution, purchased in 1987, now offers more than 4,000 products plus rental equipment to the construction industry. API Group presently consists of 39 companies in the life safety and specialty construction industry and continues to seek out acquisitions which would keep them at the forefront of meeting their customers' ever-expanding needs.
Later, I got a call from Lee Anderson. Said, Walker, I'd like to come up and talk to you about buying the business. And I said, Lee, are you talking about the whole business? Yeah, he said, the whole business. Well, I said, you tell us when you're coming up. Norton and I can arrange to be here. Now he came up and he bought the operating assets of the business and acquired the right to use the Jamar name. Mm-hmm. And that's where we are now.
A $6 million company in 1985, the Jamar Company, still headquartered in Duluth, has grown to 2012 revenues of $140 million, with satellite offices in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Escanaba, Michigan. Today, Jamar provides professional engineering services, technical fabrication, and erection expertise to clients across the U.S. and as far away as Russia. Customers also rely on the firm for HVAC, industrial process piping, siding and roofing, boiler and plant maintenance, among various service and state-of-the-art fabrication of steel, aluminum, copper, and other metals. Prestigious safety awards line the hallways of the 65,000 square foot office and fabrication shop and distribution center in Duluth, Minnesota. The company's strong safety loss prevention program supports an average workforce of 480, including many veteran craftsmen with an impressive 30-plus years in their respective trades. The Jamar Company joined the Duluth Builders Exchange in the early 1900s, with Walker Sr. serving as president from 1920 to 1921, and Norton Jamar serving in the same capacity from 1962 to 1963. Today, Jamar remains an active member in the exchange as well as numerous community organizations. Walker Sr.'s vibrant entrepreneurial spirit still prevails at Jamar Company as the firm continues to keep pace with changing markets while adhering to the standards of quality craftsmanship established a century ago.
One of the things that I like to think that we did, not wholly by accident, tried to impress on all of our people. That when we got a job, why we finished it. We did the complete job. That we provided the owner first-class work. That didn't have to ride our back all the way. And one of the other things that I think kind of helps in that we had some very, very good mechanics in the business.
We are Jamar. We are 100 years of construction history.